Good afternoon, RGEA members and guests. Welcome to today's webinar, Ameritas Dental Changes 2025 and How to Utilize Your Benefits, presented by Bo Carr from RGEA's benefits partner, AMBA. I'm your host, Daryl Davis Bowmer, and today we'll also be joined by Tim O'Connell, RGEA's Executive Director, who will share the update from the association. I also want to thank Tracy Eubanks for her technical support today. Our primary presenter, Bo Carr, Vice President, is Vice President at Association Member Benefits Advisors, AMBA. And AMBA has protected associations and affinity groups with insurance and benefits for decades. Along with Bo are several staff who stand ready in the background to respond to questions and support the presentation today. Bo will discuss the changes we have heard about regarding the Ameritas dental plan and will give you a clearer understanding of the changes and the benefits available. Before we begin the webinar, I want to just go over a few things. Each of you has been muted to help ensure the presenter can be heard. This presentation is being recorded. Many of you have asked. We will send you the link to the recording along with the PowerPoint in our follow-up email. And for those of you who have sent questions, we submitted them to Bo, and many are already incorporated into his presentation. If you think of a question during the presentation, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom page. The team will respond to questions as they come in and during the Q&A period. So without further ado, here's RGEA's Executive Director, Tim O'Connell.
All right. Thank you, Daryl. Gotcha.
Got me.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us today. If you're here in North Carolina, maybe you're seeing some little fluffy stuff falling from the sky like we are here in Raleigh. But I hope you're enjoying it and being safe. So good to have you with us this afternoon. I wanted to share a couple things, but first I wanted to begin with just saying why we're doing a program like this is we really believe that a key part of our role is making sure you stay as healthy as you can in your retirement. And we believe dental health is part of that. And so we wanted to make sure you had that information so you could use it and take care of your dental and oral health to the best of of your abilities and your oral health abilities. So I'm looking forward to the program today. I was not an expert in dental care when I took this job. I am gradually becoming that person, but I really do appreciate AMBA and Bo for putting this program on. There's a couple things, and Daryl kind of helped me with the segue there. We've got a new name. It's a little bit easier to say. We used to have 1/4 of the alphabet in our name. Now we're just going by RGEA. I'll share a little bit more at the end of the presentation on how we got there and why we got there. But the key thing is really, it's not about the shorter name completely. It's really about being more impactful on your behalf. And we've done a number of things the past few months to move in that direction. One of the big things we did is RGA just hired its first in-house Director of Government Relations. This is the person that interfaces with the legislature and works on our behalf to make sure that you are represented and heard by your elected officials and also those who serve the retirement system. So we're glad to have Jackson Cozart. He's worked for us for a number of years as a contract lobbyist, but he's now our in-house person and has just a great amount of experience in this area. He knows organization and he knows government. So we are fortunate to have him. One of the other things that we've added recently, and you may have seen some of this in the most recent Living Power, we've retained an investment analytics firm. So you and us can better monitor the performance of the pension plan. We will be sharing information out that is provided quarterly at the minimum on that. But we really believe that, the investments that you put in during your working career really are your retirement security. And so just to be good stewards and making sure that you have knowledge of how those investments and things are doing, we'll be sharing information out along those lines. So that was a new thing that we're doing too. And this is a little fact that you can walk around with. around 84% of the money that is in the pension plan is from your contribution and the earnings. So take a moment to think about that. 84% of the money in the pension plan is from the employee contributions and the earnings on those. So just a nice little thing to remember, and that's why you should stay kind of up to date and informed on how the investments in the plan are doing. The next thing I want to share with you is just our voice continues to grow. You've heard, and we have a new treasurer, Brad Briner, and I was fortunate to get to know him some through the campaign. And then I believe it was on day 2 or 3 of his new administration. Just shortly after being sworn in, I got to sit down and really just have a great conversation with him. Just he and I, and we were talking about the things that are important to you as government retirees, from pensions to healthcare. And I really do think that those conversations are helpful to good policy. And I do appreciate Treasurer Briner for giving me the opportunity to meet with him in that way. The final thing I would just want to point out is our member engagement is growing, and this is so important to the strength of the organization. Information like this webinar, other webinars we do, Daryl puts on through Lunch and Learns. We are just getting phenomenal turnout at these, and really important to us growing the strength of our membership and knowing just good information to use. But also when it comes time to advocate and to kind of all come together, it's a great way because we all know each other a little bit better. I also want to mention Josephine Lanier, who's been doing our road events. Just this month alone, she's had over 150 you come out and join her at her meetings. So I hope you'll continue to come on out. She's going all across North Carolina, and she's got some help doing that work as well. Couple things in the legislature that are going on currently. So this is the long session. The long session is typically when the biennium budget is created. The House had the first go at it last year in the short session to create a budget. As you know, a budget was not passed in the last session. This session, the Senate gets a first run at the budget, and they have already begun committee meetings working towards that. So we will keep you updated on the progress on that. At this point, there's a number of bills that have been filed. If you would like to keep up and track these, they're in Fast Democracy. If you go on our website, underneath advocacy, you can find out those bills that have been filed. One that you may have heard about is something called Senate Bill 24. And what that does, it takes a look at transparency in medical costs, and it also looks at the mandates that are included in the insurance plan. So what is mandated to be covered and what is not. And there's some language around those about limiting or capping those, the number of mandates that are in the health plan at this time. So we'll keep you up to date on that. At this point, it has passed through the Senate. It needs to go to the House, and we will keep you updated as it progresses. The other bills, as I mentioned, we've got 7 if you go into our Fast Democracy that are related to pensions. There's a couple if you're a firefighter related to some of your benefits in there as well. But you can check all this on Fast Democracy on our website under advocacy. So take a look at that. Last thing, or second to last thing I want to do is mention is we have a new public service award name. It's named the Van Langston Award for Public Service. Van was a longtime board member and just true champion for this organization. So our board has decided to name the Public Service Award after him. Nomination forms are going to be coming out. So if you have a colleague or somebody that you worked alongside or know of that is worthy of some recognition, please complete the nomination form and let's get that person in the process. And we'd love to recognize them if they win the award. But it's a wonderful award, and we will definitely, our last couple of recipients have truly been stellar, and I'm sure we'll get another one this year as well. So look for that. That is the Van Langston Public Service Award. Nomination forms will be coming out about the first week in March. Finally, I'm going to close with showing a little video explaining a little bit more about why we changed our name. You may see some familiar faces from some of our members, but I really do kind of appreciate them participating in this, and you'll see why we are now going by RGEA. Thanks, everyone. And I'm going to drop off to the Q&A, and I'll be answering some of your questions for me if you have them. I hope you enjoy the presentation.
RGEA
has a new name, and it's RGEA. And folks ask, what does that stand for? And we're the same organization we always were, but it has been a challenge to say our full name. And RGEA, North Carolina Government Retirees Employment Association, has closed. North Carolina Government Retired Employees Association.
The North Carolina Retirement Government.
North Carolina Retired Government Employees
has closed.
Retired Employee Association. Government.
It's the North Carolina Retirement, North Carolina State Employees Retirees. I think is the official name.
The North Carolina Retired Employees Association. Government Employee Association. The North Carolina Government Retirees Education Association.
The North Carolina Retirement Association. Retired employees, state employees. Sorry. Which was the North Carolina Retired Governmental Employees, no apostrophe, Association. So very challenging for our members. Quite honestly, very challenging for myself and actually for most of our elected officials who have called us everything from Nicaragua to that organization with a lot of letters. It's got so many letters in it, I kind of get lost sometimes. So we are very fortunate that our board has chosen to move in this direction, and we are RGEA, and that is the North Carolina Retired Government Employees Association. We've got a beautiful logo, easier way to say our name, but what's common is more value for you as our members.
All right, Daryl.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Tim, for that update and all that valuable information. And the video, it was fun and certainly speaks to why we needed to change our name. Anyway, Bo, are you ready?
There we go. I'm ready. Let me pull
All
up my
right.
screen. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, take it away. Thank you.
Perfect. We'll make sure you can see that same Ameritas Dental Plan RGA logo there. We're good. All right. Hey, excited to be here. My name is Bo Carr with AMBA. I've got Eileen, Jenny, and a few other staff helping support me on the back end with questions as they may come up. It's exciting to be here, and boy, there's a lot of folks on this webinar today. A lot of interest here, so excited to see all that. And let's get started. We'll advance here. So let me move this guy out of the way here and just get my screen set up. So here's what we want to do is today, we're going to cover we're going to cover these topics here in the Lunch and Learn objectives. Plus, we're going to answer a lot of the questions that you submitted. Daryl had mentioned we had a lot of questions come in on the front end. Thank you so much for sending those in on the very beginning. Our team worked together to go through all the questions. We grouped them, and so there's several kind of topics that arose, and so I'm going to touch on those throughout the presentation. You're going to hear about some things like how do I find an in-network and participating dentist? What about coordination of benefits? We have some folks asking if you've got a Medicare Advantage plan that may have some dental benefits. How do we coordinate that with another plan like this one? We'll touch on that as well. Again, a lot of questions were around the timing and what are the changes to the plan. So we'll definitely go through that as well. And then just some of the questions were also just pretty general about insurance in general, like what's the difference between a copay and deductible? So I pulled together some slides with some vocabulary words, that sort of thing that we can go through and just make sure that we're all starting on the same page. So going through these topics today, we're going to start with the basics of oral care. also get into just an overview of dental insurance and how it works. We'll walk through the RGA plan, the one that most everybody's on here on the call today, and most of the members are on. And then we'll talk about how you can navigate both AMBA and Ameritas for support, AMBA being the administrator, Ameritas being the carrier. And then any other questions that pop up, again, we'll be trying to answer those in that Q&A as we go through. And then at the end, I'll be able to answer some additional questions as well. If we don't get to your question today, we're also going to capture these, so we'll be able to reach out to you, and I'll give you some contact information as well here at the end where you can reach back out to us as well. So again, thank you so much for everybody being on the call today. So let's get started. One of the things I want to do is introduce AMBA. We're relatively new to the RGA membership and to the partnership here. Highlighted there in orange is that, yes, we're the administrator for the dental and vision plan. Many of you have had this plan for many years. It shifted to AMBA in 2022, and so now we're administering this plan on behalf of RGEA. Some of the other things that we do on behalf of the association, as a strategic partner, we enroll new members every week on behalf of the association. And so we're in an extension to a marketing extension to RGEA to be able to reach out to future members, potential members, and help bring them into the fold and share the good works that RGA is doing on behalf of members across the state of North Carolina. Also, a lot of these benefits that are listed here, these are some of the additional benefits that are afforded to members of RGEA. And so everyone here gets a free benefit review, an annual benefit review. If you haven't gotten yours yet, I'll show you how you can get on to the NCRGEA website and select the benefits tab. And from there, you can sign up for a benefits review. We review benefits that you may have outside the organization as well as inside the organization, just to give you a kind of an update annually of where you are as a checkup. Also, another free service that's available to all members of RGEA is the myambadiscounts.com. There's thousands of savings and discounts on dining, travel, technology, and this is for every member. So you get a packet in the mail when you join. It shows you how to sign up, and we can go through that a little bit as well and give you some additional information. And then, one of the things that Tim talked about is, staying healthy and having a successful retirement. And so we have tailored group solutions for some of those important categories like long-term care, critical illness like heart attack, stroke, cancer, things like that, that will cover those. Emergency medical transportation, life insurance, and protecting your nest egg. So there's quite a few things that we do to support RGA. Today, we're going to focus on the dental and vision. So let's get started here. Hey, I have a school-age daughter at home, and I understand that you cannot hear these routines enough. I can tell you from personal experience. So these are some basics, but we just want to start at the very basics. I think most of us know that the routine care that we do on a daily basis at home is probably that's the starting point for really good oral and dental care at home. So, brushing for a full 2 minutes when you wake up, when you go to bed, and after meals. A lot of toothbrushes now, if you have those electric toothbrushes, they'll actually come with the timer in there. So it'll just keep going until that 2 minutes comes up, and it'll quit on you at the right time. Obviously, flossing regularly, that helps to prevent gum disease, cavities, bad breath. I think, number 3 and 4 are interesting to me that, part of good dental care at home is staying hydrated and getting enough calcium. So eating right and staying hydrated. Staying hydrated can lead to a dry mouth can lead to additional bacteria buildup. We'll talk about that a little bit more on the next slide. And then, of course, calcium throughout your life, whether it's from dairy or other foods, can really help strengthen and keep your teeth strong. And now let's go and talk about the importance of visiting the dentist on a regular basis. So here you'll see, as we age, we face these increased risk of tooth decay, gum disease, and other complications. And these oftentimes require professional care. So some of the key reasons to visit a dentist regularly, obviously, you want to have that great smile, and preventing tooth decay and gum disease. Your enamel wears down over time, and so that actually increases the risk of cavities and chipping and infections in our retirement age. And so regular cleanings help preserve that oral health. We talked a little bit about how to combat dry mouth effects. It's amazing how many medications today have side effects that include dry mouth. And again, that can lead to bacterial buildup, decay, and dentists can help you create solutions and other guidance around options to help combat that. And then we saw from the American Cancer Society and others that your oral health and your dental health is not only important for your mouth, but it's a strong indicator of what's happening in the rest of your body. So early screenings or screenings for oral cancer, when they're caught early, that could be really helpful to improve those treatment outcomes. We also know that heart health and some other things are related to our oral health. And so it's not only about your teeth and your mouth health, it's really about your whole body health. And so that's the importance of making sure that you do visit the dentist on a regular basis. These next 3 slides, I'm going to go through. I think a lot of these terms are terms that most of us are familiar with, we've heard before. Maybe we have a good understanding or not, but I just want to kind of walk through 3 slides that has some basic terminology, and I've grouped them into categories. Hopefully this is mostly just a way as a refresher for most people on the call as to what these terms mean. And then next, what we'll do is we'll dive into looking at a policy and how these all work. And then we'll also give an example as well. So you can kind of start to see an illustrative way of how a plan works and describe some of these terminologies. So no need to take notes or anything. We'll come back and hit on these quite a bit. So here's what we did is I took the terms and kind of grouped them by category. So these all have to do with member payments when using the plan, right? So the very first one, your premium, most people on the call pay their premium on a monthly basis. You are able to pay it on an annual basis too, but most of you have it coming out of your pension or out of a checking account or credit card on a monthly basis. And so with the plans available through RGEA, as long as you continue to pay those premiums, no matter how much you use the plan, you're able to keep that plan. And so that's the first point of payment for a member. When you enroll in the plan, you'll start with those premiums. Co-insurance is the percentage that a patient pays and is responsible for when you're getting a procedure, right? And so we'll talk about deductible here in a second. I know that's part of this definition, but you'll see oftentimes like a 60-40 plan or an 80-20 plan. So in this example, in a 60-40 plan, the insurance company is going to pay 60% of the amount of that insurable cost, and then the patient, the member, will be responsible for the other 40%. Again, we'll walk through an example here to kind of give you a real an example of how this all plays out when you go and get a procedure done at the dentist. One of the questions that we had that was submitted early on, and I wanted to tackle right here early on in the talk today, what is the difference between a copay and a deductible? And we'll take a look here as we get into the plans in a few slides, and I'll show you specific examples within the RGA plan. But copayment is, you think about that as a small fixed fee, $10, $15, $30 every time you go to the doctor or a dentist. And so that's the same fee that you would pay each time when you show up for that dental visit. On the plans that most of you are on today, there's not a copay, but I'll show you an example later on. The other one that we talked about is a deductible, and a deductible is a dollar amount that usually comes first before any of the co-insurance takes place when you're getting a procedure done. And so we'll talk about that. The plan that most folks are on here has a $100 deductible, and we'll walk through what that looks like. That would come first, and then how the co-insurance kicks in after that. So these are ones around member payments. Let me show you this next one as we move over. This one, I kind of grouped some terminology that describes the type of plan and also about how much it pays toward dental work. So when we talk about you've heard about a PPO. This is a PPO plan that we're going to be talking about today. So a preferred provider organization dental plan. What that means is, and this is great news for everybody, you can use this plan in network and you can also use it out of network. So we'll show you there are several advantages to using a plan in network. It can have greater savings for you, greater cost savings at the end of the day. But the other thing is if you have a dentist that you've used for a long time and trusted, and you want to continue to use that dentist, this plan will also work there as well. And I'll show you the differences as we go. This plan and all plans have an annual maximum. And so with any plan, we talked about co-insurance and how that's going to pay. It's going to pay up to an annual maximum. And this is a per person amount that resets every year on the calendar year for the plan. And so that's what the annual maximum is. We'll take a look at that here in a second as well. And the rollover benefit, which is a unique benefit to the RGA plan and to Ameritas. For a lot of folks who are, if last year, this year, you go in, you get your cleaning and your oral exam taken care of, and you visit the dentist at least once a year, a portion of that plan is actually going to roll over, and you'll be able to beef up that annual maximum, so that when something does happen down the road, you've actually got more money in the bank that your plan will provide for you. And then the last one on here is MAC, or maximum allowable charge. So this is the highest amount that an insurance plan will reimburse for a specific dental service. And we'll again connect on that. But that's just, you'll hear about MAC, and on the next slide here, UCR, and we'll tackle those. Last slide on terminology, and then we'll dive right in to the policies. So this last one is some things that are helpful when you do have an incident, or you have something, a procedure that's needed, that's more than just your preventative care. These are some things to keep in mind. So we always recommend getting a pre-authorization or a predetermination estimate ahead of any procedure. And so this is a process where the insurance company reviews the dental treatment plan ahead, comes up with a plan and an estimate. At the end of the day, what this will do is provide you with an idea of how much you're going to end up being out of pocket for a particular procedure. And so it's very helpful to make sure that you don't have any surprises down the road. So we always recommend, anytime you're getting any kind of procedure done at the dentist, go ahead and work with them to get a pre-authorization estimate. Every plan has a missing tooth clause. Again, whenever you're getting a procedure done, it's important to know if the tooth was missing before you signed up for this coverage, what that clause is and how it'll work. Your dentist will help you figure that out, and that can be part of that pre-authorization estimate as well. And then lastly on here, we see UCR. You see this quite a bit, usual, customary, and reasonable fees. And so these are the standard charges for a dental service within North Carolina, right? So looking at claims data and other data, Ameritas and the insurance companies has determined what a usual and customary fee would be for a particular procedure. And then that's what's gauged, and you'll see that in your pre-authorization as to how much they would pay for a particular procedure. So that's just some basics on as far as this terminology. We're going to use these words and these terms as we jump in and start looking at the policy itself. So I'm going to pause on this screen for just a second. I've gotten good feedback that there's too much information and it's too small. So I am going to point out a couple things here, and then we're going to get and drill down just a little bit more granular as well. So bear with me for just a second. But one of the things before we move on, I do want to take just a minute to address the changes to the plan. I've already seen, and I'm not following, I'm talking, and so I don't multitask all that well. That's why I have my team working the Q&A in the background. But I have seen some questions already pop up around changes to the plan. And so I want to take a minute to address those changes to the plan and the reasoning behind them. So, firstly, at AMBA, we work with associations very much like yours across the United States, and we understand that change is always difficult, and we understand that. The RGA plan is a group plan, and so we found that there were some necessary adjustments that were needed to preserve the very best benefits and pricing for the entire group. Many of the updates and features are benefits that members actually requested, and so from help with the RGA staff, AMBA was able to better understand what retired North Carolina members felt would make this plan better. And so some of the things and some of the changes that you'll see that are going to be effective here in a couple weeks is reducing and removing the preventative care deductible. That was a change that was most requested by RGA members. And so on the plan, the Freedom Plan here, and we'll dive into that one in more detail, you're going to see that for preventative services going in for your cleanings and oral exams, that the deductible is waived for that. There's no deductible or copay on that Freedom Plan. And so this came from feedback from many of you here on this call and RGA members across the state. Stepping up the coverage percentages also helped to make the plan a better plan over time for new enrollees. And so because last year was our first year on the Ameritas plan, some of you have had the dental plan through RGA for a long time. I did see that it moved in last year from standard to Ameritas, and now we've made some plan improvements this year. But one of the things is, as we moved from to Ameritas last year, it really took the full year to get a picture of the plan use towards the end of 2024. And so that's why most of these updates are taking place on March 1st. So here in a couple, everything that we're talking about today is what's going to be effective here in a couple weeks. So most everybody who's on the plan currently has already been notified of these changes and where they were outlined. And most members will see the biggest difference in a lower amount out-of-pocket expenses each time that you visit the dentist this year. So let's dig in a little bit further. I do want to hit on this one slide. The one thing I do want to talk about, so there are two, and let me see if I've got my, bear with me just a second here. I'm going to see if I've got my tool available to me. But we've got here in the high plan in the middle, this Freedom Plan is the plan that most people are a part of here on this call. So this is the one that we're going to take a deeper dive into. There is a lower plan that has a lower premium. The benefits are also a little bit lower. So we made sure we provided a choice and an option for members to be able to meet them for the needs that they have and the budget that they have. So the one thing I do want to, we talked about a copay. The only place you're really going to see a copay is we reduced it on the low plan down to $10 per visit. And so on the preventative care, if you go once or twice a year to go and get your teeth cleaned, it will have a $10 per visit copay on that one. And that's different than the deductible. But again, today, most of everybody who's on the call is on the Freedom Plan. And so a lot of the mechanics of what we talk about are going to apply to both of these plans and a lot of other dental plans. But let's go ahead and get in just a little bit further here within the Freedom Plan. So we're trying to blow this up a little bit bigger so you can see these numbers, and I'll walk you through what these mean. But when you take a look at the plans, we talked about that annual maximum, and it's per person, right? So if you have a husband and wife, as a partner, spouse plus one membership, that's going to be $2,000 for the member and then $2,000 for the spouse on an annual basis to be used. That's when you're in network. When you're out of network, you have $1,750 to use. So one of the things that we had talked about early on is, there's a strong network in North Carolina. And this is where I think you're going to see that going in network can really provide you some additional benefits within the plan. It can also provide you with even better pricing from the dentist to begin with. And so North Carolina has over 3,100 unique providers with over 7,300 provider locations in North Carolina. If you're outside of North Carolina, Ameritas is across the nation. And you'll find providers. I'm going to show you here towards the end where you can go to Ameritas to find providers in your area. The next thing I want to talk about, and the other thing before I leave the annual maximum, there is a rollover reward. So here in a few slides, I'm going to show you about how you can increase that maximum. Even though it says it's maximum, you can actually grow over time, and we'll show you how that works. So the deductible on the Freedom Plan for your preventative. So if you look here in the middle, that preventative services, they're right at 100% for both in-network and out-of-network. That's your routine cleanings and oral exams, and that does not touch. You don't have a deductible involved there. I do want to have an asterisk over here about out-of-network, and that sometimes out-of-network dentists can charge higher amounts than in-network. And so there may be some out-of-pocket left over for those preventative services. It really just depends on that particular dentist and that provider and what they're charging. So again, just another benefit of working in-network. When we start to look at basic and major services and what the difference here between these two are. So let's start on the basic services. Basic services include crown repair and denture repair, right? So repairs to existing crowns and dentures, new fillings, extractions, and x-rays. So most people who are on the call today have had this plan for previous years. If you were on the standard plan earlier, you got grandfathered in. And so this step up, if you're new to the plan, the co-insurance on basic services is going to start at 60% in network and then also 60% out of network. When you're in network and you use an in-network doctor and you use it on the first year, the second year, go at least one time on that first year. The second year, it's going to step up to 70%. On the third year, you'll be at 80% for an 80-20 plan for basic services when using the plan in network. And that's a really strong benefit for this plan. Most of you who are on this plan, if you've had this plan and you were with us before with standard, you are likely going to be at this 80%. And we'll use this in an example here on my next slide. For major services, these are crowns, dentures, root canals, complex extractions, general anesthesia, periodontics, and implants. I want to just pause on implants there. All of these services are covered at 50%, both in-network and out-of-network. And implants is something that you're not going to see as a benefit in a lot of plans around North Carolina. It's something that we built into the plan. And again, from feedback from members, felt that there was a lot of value in covering implants as a major service. So this is in a nutshell what the plan that most everybody who is on this call is on, and most of the members. Let's just take a look, and I think this is helpful when we look at an example, right? So here's Jerry. Jerry goes to the dentist. He went last year, got his exam, got his cleaning done. He comes back this year, does his exam, gets his oral exam, and the dentist says, "Oh, hey, it looks like a crown that you already have is going to need a repair. So since Jerry needs a procedure done, he asks for a pre-treatment estimate." And he gets all that taken care of. It looks like for an in-network dentist, in this example, we're going to say $600 for the procedure. Now, before we get too far along here, this is an example, and this is a made-up example, and I am my liberal arts education. This is where this is coming in. That $600 may be in the ballpark for a procedure like this in North Carolina. Mostly, I'm using $600 because it makes the math really easy on my next slide. So this is really for illustrative purposes, but it's kind of in the ballpark for what you might look at for how this plan can work for you. So here's what we've done. I took the same example you just saw on the side, on the left side here, so you can refer back to the plan for looking at that in-network and what the coverages are. So the dentist says, hey, this procedure is going to cost $600 for the crown repair. The very first thing, because this is the first basic procedure that Jerry has experienced this year, so he has an annual $100 deductible that he needs to pay. So he's going to pay his $100 deductible. That goes against that $600 and brings it down to $500. So now the co-insurance, because he's had this plan for a few years, he's already up to the 80% co-insurance. So the insurance is going to pay 80% of the remaining amount that's left over, that $500. So the insurance is actually this blue part here. The insurance company, Ameritas, is going to pay $400 in this example. So the remaining amount, the 20% of that co-insurance that's left over for the member, the patient, Jerry, is $100. So Jerry ends up paying $100 for his deductible, $100 in co-insurance. So his total out of pocket for this procedure is $200, and Emeritus picks up the rest for $400. Again, in this example. But that's kind of how these terms work and how this plan works and how you can expect your plan to work as you have work that's needed down the road, either this year or in future years. So the next thing I want to talk about is we're going to come back and talk about these maximums over here and what we can do as members to help increase that. So again, the dental rewards with these rollover rewards through Emeritus, it's a unique plan. It's unique to this plan, and it's something that you just don't see a lot of out there. It's a cool benefit. So again, there's a lot of information on this slide. I wanted to provide as much information as possible, but also make sure that it's not confusing. At the end, we'll send you to the direct sources so that you can view these on your own online. So again, looking down here at the Freedom Plan, here's what's great is, and as you look at these down at the bottom, you're going to see the Freedom Plan and the Choice Plan. So the high and the low. And then with the slash here, remember on the Freedom Plan, in network, you've got $2,000 annual maximum, $1,750 for out of network. These dental rewards are going to work on both the high and low plan, and they're also going to work both in network and out of network. So take this example. Is that if you go to the dentist at least once a year, so go and get your preventative care taken care of, your oral exam and your cleaning. If the plan meets this threshold, right? So it's not the total of what the charge is, it's what Emeritus ends up paying that year in the plan. If it is underneath this threshold of $750 in a given year, so you didn't need a whole lot of work that year, this plan will take $400 and roll it into your maximum so that next year, in the event that you have work that you need to get done, now your annual maximum is up to $2,400. So again, this for new members, you're going to see both your co-insurance stepping up over the year, from year to year. And then you're also going to see that annual maximum with the rollover rewards step up as long as you go to the dentist at least once a year and you're underneath that threshold. Now, if you're not on the RGEA plan currently, you can head to the RGEA website and find out more on the benefits tab. I'll have that link here at the end of the presentation. If you are currently on the plan, one of the things that I've highlighted here, and I want to make sure that everybody on this plan knows and understands, is that RGEA has really gone to bat for their members, and this is a pretty fantastic program. It's pretty phenomenal. So again, looking on the right, most of you are on the Freedom Plan. If you and your spouse, so the retired North Carolina government employee, that primary member and your spouse or partner are on this plan as this member plus spouse. So your premiums next month are going to be $132.42. Now, for that same coverage for the same two people, you have an opportunity to drop that premium down. So the member is already signed, the retired government employee is already signed up as the primary member. There's an associate category at RGA for that spouse. And it's usually about $40 is I think is the price there, right? For the associate member, $40. That is going to reduce your premium down to $117.69. Same coverage, same two people on the plan. The only difference is that now, just as Tim was saying, strengthen members, right? Strengthen numbers. It helps with the advocacy and helps with the strength of the organization. So I do encourage you, if if you have a spouse that's on this plan who's not an associate member, you should go today to NCRGA, sign up that member as an associate. You can give them a call. This is a total of $177 in savings on your plan alone. So definitely make sure to take advantage of that. That's a really cool opportunity. So I want to get in and just show you a couple of things. My next few slides, they are not the prettiest slides because I took some screenshots. It's really, I just wanted to show some information about how you can access Ameritas on the portal. Once you get signed in the first time, it's really easy to bookmark that site and be able to go back and you can very quickly find out all kinds of great information about your plan and your experience, right? So you can view your explanation of benefits, the EOB, find out how your plan's working for you. If you need to print a new ID card, you can grab one there. You can also view and print the certificate of coverage, right? This is the long form actual policy, and you can read through that. And I had a lot of questions about where do I find providers that are in the plan and in network. And so there is a tool there where you can look up dentist providers in your area. So very simply, again, there's a lot here in 1, 2, 3, 4, but you go to ameritas.com. I'll provide this in bigger letters at the end of the slide. At the top right, you're going to see this blue sign-in box. If you've never signed in before, it's just like signing up for anything else where you create a username and password. Once you get those saved, then you're in. And so signed into the site, you just go and click on dental at the top of the Ameritas website. And once you do, this is what you're going to find. And we've highlighted some of the things that most people had questions about on this call and what we get a lot of feedback around as well. So you can view your claims and benefits summary. We're going to take a look at a claim here in just a second. You can find a dental provider. One of the questions that we had come up from a few people is, if I have a dentist I like who's not in network, can I get that dentist to join the network? You can kind of work that from both sides. You can go directly to Ameritas and nominate, just like here at the bottom left corner, you can nominate a provider and nominate your dentist to be in network. And then also talk to your dentist and the person at the front desk to see about them joining the network. And again, it helps your plan work even better for you. So there's a lot of things that you can learn here in the Ameritas portal. It's all right here at your fingertips. One of the other questions that we had that came up as well is around looking at a claim and what does that look like? So when you pull it up on once you submit a claim, this is a pretty cool tool where you'll be able to track the progress along as far as it being accepted, paid, that sort of thing. And you'll have an explanation of how that was calculated and how those benefits are working on your behalf. So there's actually more information up here on the top that you would see with your name and information and date of birth. Obviously, just for privacy, we took this as an example and erased that information. But the meat of it here down at the bottom, you will see how much the dentist charged, how much the dental plan paid, what you should expect to be billed. And then there's some additional tools down here that help you understand how it's calculated and the reasoning behind that. So lots of great information. I'm also going to share at the end, there is, here a claim phone number. So you can always reach both AMBA, NCRGEA, and Ameritas by phone or online. So we'll meet you wherever you are to make sure that you get your questions answered. So I'm going to pause on this slide for just a second and take a quick drink of water from all my talking. improve my oral health, right, by staying hydrated. Um, so just some important sites and phone numbers. I just want to talk a little bit about what these are. I'm going to pause on this slide for a little while. If you want to grab a pen and paper to jot these down, take your phone out, take a snapshot of it. This presentation is also going to be recorded. We had a few people who were not able to make it today. And so it will be recorded if you want to go back and review any parts of this, and I'll let Daryl tackle that at the end here. So if you are enrolling in dental, vision, or any of those other benefits that you're looking at, your annual benefits review through AMBA, the best way to find us is through the ncrgea.com. So RGA is the name of the group. They're keeping their the URL, the domain name, ncrgea.com. And just click on the benefits tab and everything you need is right there. It'll take you through, it'll show you all the things that I showed you as far as, and even more about the plans and the coverages. AMBA handles the administration for this. So if you need to change your bank account number, update a credit card, update your address because you've moved, add or remove a spouse or dependent, we're the ones that you want to contact. And so that's our number there, 877-845-2622. And you can reach out directly to AMBA Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. Direct, we talked about Ameritas. That's where you're going to find most of the moving parts within your plan. And so Ameritas.com, that's what we just walked through. So you can always go there. If you're having trouble or you want to just connect with somebody directly on the phone, that's the phone number, 800-300-9566. We'll take you directly to Ameritas. So I'm going to leave this slide up. I did have a couple of questions. I saw you popping on here, Daryl. Do I have time to tackle just a couple of questions before we hop off here?
Yes, you do. And thank you while I have a moment for the presentation, and thank the team from Amber for answering the questions as they were being placed into the chat. So, Bo, go ahead with the questions you have.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I've got, I had a couple that got sent to me over here from Holly Springs, North Carolina. Our first member question is about coordination of benefits. So this is good. I was talking about this at the beginning. Thank you for reminding me. If you have, some of you will have like a Medicare Advantage plan that has a dental component to it, or another dental plan through another entity or through a spouse. You can coordinate it with dental plans. You can have two plans. And so when you go to the dental office and they ask about what your insurance is, let them know that you have two plans and that you would like to coordinate those claims. They'll know what to do. Basically, what happens is, like with this plan has a $2,000 maximum benefit. If you have another plan that has a $1,000 maximum benefit, you can use one until you spend it all the way down, and then whatever's remaining, they'll coordinate the benefits to spend down on the other one. So that's what coordination of benefits does, and you're able to use a couple of those. I did have a couple other quick questions from over in Cornelius. We had a what are the waiting periods for this plan? Here's the good news. If you're just joining the plan now, there are no waiting periods. So if you enrolled earlier in the year, or late last year or early in the year, and you're new to the plan, you can get started right away. If you have a procedure that you need to do, there's no waiting periods. You can jump right in. And then I had another kind of related question from over in Boone, North Carolina. What if I miss the enrollment period? Again, one of the things that RGA and AMBA have done together is to provide year-round enrollment. So today, if you don't have coverage or you did not sign up for the coverage RGA earlier in the year or late last year, you can actually go in today, get started, get signed up today, and have coverage as early as beginning of March. So that's a great thing to let your other fellow retirees know as well, that they can get started anytime throughout the year.
Great, Bo. I had a couple questions come in to me on my email while you were talking. One pertains to children who are on the dental plan. The member wants to know if her 25-year-old son is still on the plan until age 26.
I believe, and I'm going to lean on Eileen and Jenny, but I do believe that is yes, that's the case, that you would be able to um, uh, Perfect. Yeah, so I'm looking at some of these that are coming across here. So yes, so
Yeah.
any of the dependents up through age 25 can stay on that plan. Yeah.
And stay on the plan. Great, great. I didn't want to put you on the spot there.
No, that's good.
So,
I want to make sure that I'm got it
right,
accurate as well.
right, exactly. And then another wanted to know, and you may have covered this, but how do you find out if you're on the low or the high plan?
Sorry, what was the question? Is how to find out which one you're in?
Yes, that was the
Um,
question. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. I was gonna say the probably the easiest way would be to the first and fastest way to would be to see what your premiums are. And so again, when you look at the ncrga.com and go on the benefits tab, it has the premiums for both the high and low or freedom and choice is the interchangeable terms, but you can look there and see. The other thing you can do is when you go to the Ameritas.com, then you'll be able to see your plan there as well.
Great, thank you. I saw that there was a question in the Q&A about that. Then I got one on my email as well, so I thought I would ask
Perfect.
that one. So thank you so much again for you as well as the team from AMBA for joining us today. And we are just about done, but if you have any other questions or comments that you think of later, you could reach out to me at daryl@ncrgea.com, and I'll send it out to the appropriate person for the response. And we are sending this out, so the numbers that Bo has listed on his last slide are still there, will be there, and you can call those numbers as well or send an email and check out the websites. We will also be sending out a survey, so don't forget to fill it out. It's quick and easy. We need it back by Monday. Before we leave today, we have about 383 people on the call that I can see. We have a few lunch and learns in March. One is March 5th. From noon until 1, and Social Security will be doing that one and talking about Social Security and women. The next one is on March 12th. It's a special session for us, and it's entitled Proactive Tax Planning. We already have about 100 people registered, maybe more. I just checked last night. It was at 87, so I'm sure it's more today. And be sure and sign up for that one. It will be at 12:30 to 1:30 on March 12th. And then on March 19th, we have our regular webinar entitled Caregiving is a Journey, Innovative Resources and Support for North Carolina Caregivers. You will not want to miss this. A lot of you have asked caregiving questions, so please plan to attend. All of these are free and open to the public, and we are certainly trying to work hard to better ensure that you are getting the most out of your membership and benefits with RGEA. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon. And as always, the association stands ready to assist you in your retirement. Thank you so much. Happy Wednesday. Be careful. It's snowing outside, and stay safe. Have a good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Bye-bye.